when did I start? It'd be 1979. I was with Teleprompter and Manhattan Cable. And I could tell a little bit, if you want, a little bit about the format of the first show, which was Songs to Remember. That's when Evie Day was with me. She was my co-host.
Right.
And I'm sure a lot of people remember Evie Day.
Sure.
And talented? Oh, she's so talented. Yeah.
How did you meet Evie? Was she?
I was doing a nightclub bit, and it was a strange way of doing it. My piano player bailed out the last minute. And I went to the club there, and I heard about this Eddie White. He's terrific. He's passed away now, but I gave him the charts, and he played them like this, nobody's business. I mean, he made me sound good.
Right.
And through Eddie White, I met Evie Day, because I says, hey, I got some charts, you want to go over them with me? So we rented, that's when they had Broadway Arts. I don't know if you remember Broadway Arts.
No.
Well, we rented a room at Broadway Arts, and this lady was with him, a pretty lady, and she had her clarinet with her and all, but she didn't play then, but she's talented. She plays any instrument. She's made all my arrangements from then on. She's made all my arrangements. I have medleys of 5 or 6 songs. She puts them together so pretty, and makes me sound great. You know, I mean, the way it sounds. Hey, this guy's good, but really, it's the arrangement that's really good. You know, and she's terrific.
And you wrote some songs with her, right?
Oh yeah.
Which
well, like when we made our first show, my TV was called Songs to Remember, and we both collaborated together, and we wrote there our songs to remember, and that was my opening theme.
Did you two write Nostalgia? The song Nostalgia?
Yeah, we wrote that too.
Yeah.
Nostalgia.
Yeah, she always sang. You never sang that alone. She always.
No, right on the end, I would come in with her. Let's see, what a wonderful. I forgot. I can't think.
What a wonderful word. What a wonderful word.
It is nostalgia.
It's nostalgia.
Yeah.
What makes those time-worn memories?
Yeah. What makes this time seem so fantastically swell? Well, I guess only time will tell.
They were the good old days.
But Songs to Remember was a little bit more my song than hers.
Nostalgia was more like hers.
Yeah, Nostalgia was more like hers, but we did collaborate together. See, I had the lyrics, and the Songs to Remember was way back when I was a kid. I always had.
You wrote that back?
Yeah, I always had an idea. She put the melody to it. I always had the idea of someday having a show with Songs to Remember, which I did.
Right.
I fulfilled that, and I told her about it. She says I showed her the words that I had in mind, and she put the melody right away with it.
Right.
Beautiful. She put the whole show together. We'd usually have one guest, and I would open up with a song, then she would do a song, and then we'd have what we called the nostalgia corner. We had the book.
Right.
We opened up the book, and the songs. Oh, we're going to do songs of Broadway.
Right.
And then maybe we'll do all the Broadway songs, and we said, let's have our guest out and do a number. And we call our guest out, introduce her, and she do a song that collaborates with our book.
Right.
And later on, we call her out to do another number. And then we'd have the mailbag. Oh, I love that. We wrote the song for that too. Excuse me, I'm not in voice. Do you remember that dream? Remember that night? Do you remember our song of love? And it said, it's time for the mailbag. And then I'd read a letter that I received, and somebody would say, we were married in 1945. Our song was, I'm in the mood for love. Would you please do that for us? And then I'd sing the song for them, and then we'd put the mailbag deal up on, the address up on the screen, so they can write in case you have any requests. And then on the end, we'd all sing together. There are songs to remember, and then God bless you, love everybody. I've always said that on every show. God bless you, love her. I remember one show I did, and I don't remember. We taped it, and I don't remember if I said God bless you and love everybody. And I had to call up the next day. I didn't sleep that night. I had to call up the next day to find, because I feel it's a message. And then I wanted to do something a little bit more. This was. When I used to go to the rehearsals and all, I used to see all these little kids and all, so talented. So Evie and I got together and said, why don't we do change our format and get some of the people around New York and you know and air their wares out, because there's talent all over. And that's what we did. So we changed our format. We called it Stairway to Stardom, and we wrote a song for Stairway to Stardom. You know, like I know you've heard me do it many times. So anyway, we would rehearse. We would put an ad in the paper. Wanted singers, dancers, musicians, etc. Wanted for Stairway to Stardom, cable TV show, and then they would come, and then we would audition them, and we would pick out the ones we thought were talented, and we put them on the show. We like to have 3 or 4 on the show, and that's what we did. And some of them have gotten pretty good. I mean, we had one fella, he was a comedian, and I got a call, and he got 5 weeks booking in New Jersey.
Which,
Remember his name?
Huh?
His name?
Yeah, Wayne Rubin, I believe was his name. Wayne Rubin. Very nice fella. Pardon me. I just come off of a cold. And I remember here's one. I'd like to tell this story. I've told it many times. I had a little 5-year-old on my show. And after she sang and danced and did very well. And during the interview, I asked her, how old are you? And she says, I'm 5. She looked up, I'm 5. And I says, oh, are you married? And she looked up at me, put her hands on her hips, and looked up at me, and of course I'm not married. And looked into the camera as if to say, get him, you know. Well, we thought it was cute. Well, a day later, I think it was the next day, I got a call from one of the agencies. An agent wanted the number of, you know, to get hold of. Excuse me.
That's okay.
Will you get that in there? Okay. I should have. Anyway, I got the call the next day, and I says, well, I can't give you her number, but I'll have her call you. Well, as a result, she did McDonald commercials, did several of them,
Really?
one after the other. And
Do you remember her name?
oh no, it's so long. This was one of the first shows too.
Really?
Oh, I think it was Diane Kushan. Oh, well, anyway, make a long story short, you know, I don't want any percentage or anything, but the mother was good enough to. I received a package a couple weeks later, and it was a nice VCR, and then so that was real nice, you know.
And this one?
No, not this one. This was a long time ago when it first come out. When these big bulky ones were about $5 a piece, you know, 500 a piece. You know?
Betamax thing?
Yeah.
So you got a lot of calls from agents and stuff when the show aired?
Yeah, not as much as I like to. Sometimes there'll be 1 week I might get when we had the mail segment. 1 week I might get 10, 12 letters, 15 letters, and the next week I won't get any. So I'll just revert back because I can't answer all the letters, you know, on the air. So I would, you know, answer requests as much as I could. We kept ahead on the mail. Not too much from agents, not as much as I like to, you know. I was on a shoestring budget, you know. Everything came out of my pocket. I didn't even charge the, you know, some people, they used to tell me, why don't you charge them? At first I did, and I felt uneasy about it.
Really?
And then I started, and I said, no, I'll just pay for the, and in the early days, you know, when I first started, I can rent the studio for $50. And now it's around $350, $400 just for a half-hour's taping.
And that's why you don't.
And they rush you. You know, you can't do a half-hour show with a half-hour taping. You got to rent the studio for an hour, because there's going to be cuts or there's going to be a mistake or something. You know, and it runs you quite a bit of money. So I had to give up the show finally.
So do you have
I'm hoping I get a sponsor. You know, that would sponsor me, and you know, maybe because I like what I'm doing. I like what I was doing because it was helping others, and it helped me too. You know, I like to sing. I'm a ham. You know, my father was in show business, and he was a comedian. My brother's in show business. You know, so
What does your brother do?
huh?
What does your brother do?
My brother was well, he's not doing it now, but he was an operatic singer. He sang around here in Connecticut, Pennsylvania. So he even sang in Italy. He's an Italian opera star. You know. He was pretty good too.
So how when did you first know that you wanted to be an entertainer? Like, how young were you how did you start singing?
Well, I was singing as long as I remember when I was a little kid. The first time I went on stage, I think I was 10 years old. My father was doing an Italian show. I didn't even understand Italian. I still don't today. But I got a few words. They were doing a stage show of a saint, and we were supposed to stone this saint. So they had little things that looked like stones, you know, and I got up on the stage and I'm saying, ammazziamolo, sì, ammazziamolo. That means, yes, let's kill him, you know, and that's all I really knew of Italian. But then I started doing different things every time he needed someone. I was right there, and I was around the stage so much that I kind of got in my blood. I always wanted to sing. I sang at Horton Hardt's Children's Hour in Philadelphia. I don't know if you remember Horton Hardt's Children's Hour. I sang there. It was on a Sunday, and I remember one gal there, Kitty Callan. She won't remember me, but I remember her because she made it, you know. And what did I sing? I think I sang. I used to think I was Bing Crosby. When I think I sang Pennies from Heaven, and I used to give it to every time it rains, you know, try to do like Crosby. But after that, I kind of developed my own style, you know. But he was my idol.
And so, like, how old were you when you were on that show?
Horton Hardt's Children, I was about 12.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So then, did you?
And what they gave us, all the kids would go down, and anybody who's affiliated with the show goes down, and they go into Horton Hardt's restaurant, and we eat our hearts out. We eat all you want, you know. So that was our pay.
Right.
My Aunt Nora was on that too. You know, she was on the Horton Hardt's Children's Hour.
And you, in your later 20s and 30s.
Well, after I sang with Dick Contino, I don't know if you heard of Dick Contino. He was a famous accordion player at one time. I was at the Macombo in Hollywood, and I sang at the Wardolph Cellar, and I sang with a few bands.
Big bands?
Huh? Well, Jimmy James, he was one, and Buddy Franklin. I don't know if they call them real big bands, but semi-bands, you know. It was enough to keep me in shape. And I did a lot of nightclub work, you know, here and there. I got well, the Bushes. I did the Bushes here. I did.
That was the one that was on the show, right?
Yeah, I did that. Yeah, we taped that. I did that on the show. I did Cotton Club over there in Harlem. It's not like this. In my opinion, it's not like it used to be. I mean, I'm not putting the club down because I don't know that much about it now. But in the olden days, they had some of the greats, you know. And
when was this that you did?
I did the Village Gate. Oh, I'd like to tell you a story about the Village Gate. In fact, one of my songs that I sing, I put that in the beginning of the. One time I was doing a gig there at the Village Gate, and I went out and I sang "I'm in the Mood for Love." Well, after I finished my act, you know, I sat down at the table with some friends there, and while we're sitting there, here comes this pretty lady, came over to my table, and she said, "I just loved the way you sang my song." Well, when she said that, I thought, you know, her husband and her, you know, every lover, you know, has their song. And she said, "I just love the way you sang my song." She says, "I'm Dorothy Fields." She said, "I wrote I'm in the Mood for Love." You know, and had I known she was out there, I probably would have blew it, you know, but I didn't know she was there, so I just was relaxed. And that was quite a compliment coming from her. So whenever I do that song, I have my piano man dabble it on the da 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 da. And I have him dabble on the piano, and I tell the story about the Village Gate when I did a show out there. And the back door, I did several places, you know.
And this was before the
But
show?
the nightclubs aren't like they used to be. When I first came out here, I go all over, you know.
So where are you from? Are you from New York?
No, I'm from Philadelphia. I was born in Philadelphia, South Philly. Where all the singers are from, you know.
So what brought you to New York? Have you made records?
Well,
here?
in 1969 I came out here and I made a record. I sent in the tape, and they accepted. It was Sanford's Recordings, and I made a record, and it played in 10 cities for 10 weeks. I think that's the way to do it. 10 cities for 10 weeks, and it didn't do too well. One city it did, in Memphis, and that's the record center of the world. It got on the top 40, I think. And I received a letter in the mail saying that I should go out there and go on the local TV shows and push my record.
What was the song?
Huh?
What was the
What was it
original?
called?
Beautiful World and What is Love? So anyway, I had to, if I go to Memphis and I would have to dish out my own money. I didn't have the finances.
Right.
And I was told that the song might have made it had I had some backup singers and all. It was just plain. I didn't have backup singers, but it did get on the top 40 in Memphis, which was very, 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 you know, made me feel good anyway.
Do you have any copies anymore? Or?
Well, the copies I had, I may have one or two. I got, yeah, my sister has some copies, and my stepmother. But the copies that I have, my daughter in the bedroom there, she was cleaning, helping her mother clean house, and I had a whole box. It come 100 in a box, and she put them right by the radiator. And when the radiator came on, that heat just curled them all.
That's a shame.
And I made another record, which this one I made on my own. In fact, I did it on the show. You might have heard it. It's called, what's it called? The Object of My Affection. The Object of My Affection, Change My Complexion. And the flip side was, I can't even remember my own songs. That happens too. But all in all, I don't regret that. I know I could have done it. I could have. I look back and I feel I could have done some things that I didn't do. You know, that maybe would have helped out. You know, I didn't know when I first came here. I didn't know. I wasn't. I was. Well, when I first came here, let me tell you, I was born in Philadelphia, but I was transplanted in Colorado. And I lived in Colorado for a long time. And that's where I met my wife and everything. And coming out here, it's like being a hillbilly out here. Hey, look at here. You look up at all the buildings. They could tell I was, you know, not from New York. It was just like Philadelphia's a large city, you know. And you'd think, hey, this guy's hip. But no, when you go, what's that saying? You could take the country out of the, I don't know. What is that saying?
I don't remember. I know which one you mean.
When I felt, in other words, what I'm saying is, when I came here to New York, I was all in awe. You know, everything was strange to me. I didn't know how to go about it to do anything, and that's why I say, if had I known, or had I been here before and been around and all, I would have probably knew how to handle my show a little better. I like a lot of people. They like my show.
Oh yeah.
And I've got a lot of phone calls. I've got some bad phone calls too. You know.
Really?
Yeah. Like for instance, I don't know if you might want to edit this out or not, but I remember one time I had a show, and it was mostly black people, you know. And one girl I had on the show, I gave her a kiss and everything, and I got a call, and it says, "Is this Frank Masi from Stairway to Stardom?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Yeah, I saw your show the other day. You're a nigger lover, aren't you?" You know, and things like that, you know. I frown on that word.
Was this a long time ago?
I frown
like
on
in the 70s?
Yeah, this was a long time ago. This was in the early 80s, I think. And I frown on that word. I never let my kids use that word or anything, because to me it's a nasty word. I don't like any dirty jokes. I had a comedian audition for me, and he was using F words and this and that. And I said, "No." I said, "Look," I says, "that's all right for a nightclub and all, but this is TV." I says, "I like to keep my show clean, you know. If you want to do 4 or 5 minutes and clean it up a little bit, you're a good comedian. I like you, you know." And so he did it, you know. He left out the dirty words.
Do you keep in contact with any of the people? That
Yes,
have been
oh
on the
yes. Some have become very good friends.
Like,
Yes. Bob Johnson, a very dear friend of mine. I know you've seen him. I had him on the show a couple times.
Steve Luisi?
Huh?
Steve Luisi, do you know where? From All the King's Men?
All the King's Men, I keep in touch with them too.
Are they
In fact, I got them a couple jobs. I got them, you know, I got them a job at, you know, for a wedding. You know, they get a gig at a wedding. You know.
Are they still together doing their thing?
Yes. Well, you see, they're working men too, and if I need them, they can get together in a day's time. They can just get a little rehearsal. You know, you always have it. You know, if you have talent, it's there. You don't lose it. You just need a little to get the rust out. That's all. And then once you get that rust out, you're in a groove again.
So you're
And
Lucille Cataldo?
yes, I keep in touch with her. In fact, she becomes so beautiful. I'll tell you. I mean, she's quite a lady now. She's older now, and
Is she married now or something?
no, she's not.
No.
She's still performing?
Huh?
Does she still sing?
No, she's not performing anymore. Not that I know. I didn't even ask her. You remember Bernadette?
Right.
Yeah.
She was your goddaughter, right?
She's my goddaughter.
What is she doing?
Huh?
What does she do now?
She's just a housewife. That's all.
She's married now?
Yeah. She lives over here, right? She lives right by here, 43rd Street.
Remember some of the early shows? She was just a little girl.
Yeah. She was just 12 years old, I think, the first time she was on the show. And then there's Gia Williams. We became excellent friends.
There was a stand-up comedian, Al Villa.
Oh, Al
He
Villa,
was,
yeah.
Pancho Villa's grandson
Yeah,
or something?
that's
Yeah. Great grandson.
Yeah, that was a friend of Don Costello's.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they were very good friends. He was at the funeral too. Yeah.
Is he still doing stand-up?
He's pretty talented, you know. He's very enthusiastic.
Right.
Yeah. Let's do that. Let's try it. You know. And you need somebody like that too. You know, around to give you ideas and all, because he got a lot of good ideas. I've seen him on Broadway. He's not performing any place, but he keeps trim. You know.
Right. There was somebody on a very early show, an older lady, Fanny King.
Brought her out at the end, and she just sang.
She's a very elderly lady.
There were songs to remember also. She sang.
Yeah, she passed away. She was 100 years old when she passed away.
Wow.
Yes.
Who was she?
That was my piano player, Jerry King. That was his mother.
Oh, boy.
And she knew my song. Did you notice that?
Yeah,
She was, there are songs to remember. I put that mic right there in front of her.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah, I was one of her favorite. I was really one of her favorite.
So,
she was quite a musician herself. She played the piano. Well, she taught her son how to play.
he's a great piano player.
And he's great. Did you like my last band I put together?
The Obsessions?
Yeah.
Yeah, they
the
were very
Obsessions,
good.
yeah.
How did you
Huh?
get the idea for all those other...
Well, I screened them. And
Did you ever take them? Did you ever perform anywhere with the Obsessions as a group?
with part of them, yes, part of them. We did, Gia Williams and I did a show over on 8th Avenue. It's the Blue Vessel, or it's the name of a ship. Club we did. And then another place we did once in a while, you know, here's the way we do it too. I'm in the audience, see. And it's all put up, you know. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a celebrity here in the audience that has a high-ranking, you know, cable TV show, Stairway to Stardom. Frank Masi. Maybe we can get him up here and do a number. We've already rehearsed it. You know, it's in the bag, and then you know, we pass me a few bucks. I pass her a few bucks. We do it that way, you know. Now there's here's what's so rough when, like I said, it got so expensive toward the end when I was taping. It would cost $350, $400 just for the studio. Plus, I would pay the musicians. I've always paid the musicians, and occasionally when I have a real professional group and I want them bad enough, or professional, I would, you know, pay them. So like at the Bushes, I paid everybody, and I had a lot of performers on that, the Bushes, and I paid every one of them, you know. So that I made out all right because I got the cover. I got the cover charge. I think was $5 or something like that. And we had a full house, so I did pretty good. I made out all right. I mean, I paid my performers plus I got whatever was left.
So you've had other jobs to support?
Oh, I have to. Yeah, when you're in this business, that's why. Did you know that 80%? I was a waiter. Did you know that 80% of the waiters in Manhattan are in show business?
Is that,
Yeah. They need something to go in between jobs, you know. Otherwise, you'll starve to death.
Right.
Did you ever give lessons to singing?
I have, not professionally or anything, but I used to tell them that, you know, certain performers that I knew that could become, you know, tell them sing from the diaphragm, you know, tell them to sing from here, and tell them how to take breathing exercises and all. I don't practice what I preach, but, you know, I would give them some clues as to what to do. Go up and down the scale. Don't be afraid to go, oh, and all the way up and down, you know, because that's a lot of help when you're
It
singing.
gets you tuned up.
Yeah.
I think you mentioned at some point that you were going to be in a movie. They shot some scene.
Yes.
A comedian or something.
Like I said, it was in the can. It was called The Comedian, I believe. And they just took, what they did was took a segment of our show. The one I had was Songs to Remember. And they took a segment of that. And that's what we were going to be in.
And somebody, the comedian in the movie, was on the show?
Yes.
Is that how
And the comedian in the movie was on the show. And Tilly, my wife Tilly, was in that too. And we expected it to come out and did. Oh, Don Costello, my comedian, you know, he, I'm sure about him.
A regular on the show.
Yeah, he was a regular. He was great. He was great. Too bad he could have gone. He knew how to. He knew his timing and everything, you know. And a lot of times when we did our shows, I would put all the material together. I would go down to the library, and I would get jokes on doctors. And I put it in instead of putting it like a joke, I would put it like in a conversation form, you know? And I'd go to him and we would rehearse it. And sometimes we would be rehearsing in the car or on the way or like that.
Last minute.
And you know, we wouldn't have too much time to rehearse. And he'd get it down. He'd get it down. And the expressions on his face and everything. He was just great.
How did you meet him?
Let's see. How did I meet him? Oh, I met him at McGillicuddy's. My wife and I were there. We were having a couple drinks. I don't drink now, but we were having a couple drinks, and Jerry King was there, and he called up this fella, Don Costello, and he did his act, and that's when I had Songs to Remember, and I called him over. I says, "Hey Don," I says, I like your little skit there. I says, he played Miss Bosoms, dressed up as a lady. And I says, how'd you like to be on the show, you know? So, I don't know if you saw the first show of Don Costello when we were interviewing him and all. Yeah, well, that's the first time he was on the show. And from there on, I says, well, when I changed my new format and got the Stairway to Stardom, I says, hey, why don't we do a little skit in the beginning of the show? You know, I'll be singing a number and he'd come up, hey, I'm trying to do a show here, you know, and so forth and so on, you know. And you remember some of the jokes, I'm sure. Remember the one where he came out and he's over there, hey, what are you doing here? He says, I dropped a quarter. I said, well, here, let me help you look for it. I says, whereabouts did you drop it? He says, out in the parking lot, you know. I said, well, wait a minute. I says, if you dropped a quarter out in the parking lot, how come you're looking for it here? He said, the light is much brighter here, you know, stuff like that. Well, I put all those things together, and he just picked them up so much.
Yeah, it went very smoothly.
Yeah.
Your favorite song, what would that be?
My favorite song is, now I can't think of it. My favorite song is, Baby, what's our favorite song? I only have eyes for you.
Ah, right.
There it is.
Are the stars out tonight? Sing, baby. I don't know if it's cloudy or bright.
Do you have a favorite entertainer, somebody that's your biggest influence?
And this goes way back. I know you've never heard of Russ Colombo, but he was a little bit before Bing Crosby. Russ
I've heard
Colombo.
the name,
Yeah, Russ Colombo. In fact, he was the first one I heard go boo 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 boo. Oh, I could tell you a little story about Russ Colombo. They were going to make a movie of him, not a movie, a stage show of him called The Golden Voice. That's what they called him, The Golden Voice of Russ Colombo. He's the one that wrote Prisoner of Love. You heard of Prisoner of Love? How long from night to night you find me? 2 weeks to break the chains that bind. Well, he wrote that, him and Leo Robin. Anyway, I was going for an audition, and the guy put a bug in my ear. He says, they're going to do a play of Russ Colombo. I didn't know who Russ Colombo was because I was too young. He died in 1934, and I was a little bit too young to know who Russ Colombo was. So I went to the music store, and I said, do you have any records of Russ Colombo? They had an album of him. And in those days, you can go in a booth and you put on the earphones and you can listen to the songs. Well, there was one particular song I knew, Prisoner of Love. So I listened to that song, and I learned it, and not only did I learn it, I tried to do it the way he sang it. I started doing like an impression of Russ Colombo. So when we were auditioning, they had several singers go out, and they were doing different numbers, you know. They didn't know what it was for, but I knew it was Russ Colombo. So I went out there, and I went out there, and then it says, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to do Prisoner of Love. And Russ Colombo has a little nasal, alone from night, tonight you'll find me, so forth and so on. 2 weeks to break the chain. So I went, and they said, that's him. And the other fellas, they were arguing then, and the other fellas said I was too short. You know? I am short. But anyway, I got the part. So we were doing the play, and we had it for about 6 weeks. It was going fair, you know. Now they got a letter from the Russ Colombo Enterprises saying they wanted a piece of the action, you know,
Right.
because we're doing we couldn't afford it, you know. We weren't making enough on it, you know.
So the show-
Barely surviving on it, you know. Little play. So that went kaput. Another time, I was singing at the Waldorf Cellar, and that's where Dick Contino came in there too one time. Anyway, I was singing at the Waldorf Cellar, and an A&R man was in there, and I guess he liked my singing, so he told me, you know, he was planning on making an album, and he gave me 20 songs. I'm making a long story short. There's a lot of little knickknacks in between, you know, and he gave me 20 songs to prepare 10, pick out 10 of the 20 songs. And I thought I was hot stuff then because I was with Dick Contino. And I was going out with girls and all, I'm spending money and all. And I'm cashing checks. Well, I overdrew a couple checks. And I'm sure, I think we all done that. Anyway, this Saturday we're going to get ready to sign, the following Saturday, get ready to sign a contract for me to make the album. And I hear a knock on the door. And they say, we're from Sheriff Biscaloo's office. I'll never forget that name. Now that's a name I won't forget. Sheriff Biscaloo. And I said, I thought it was the I&R man, you know. And they said, seems that one of the fellows real hateful. He said, seems you've been pasting paper all over the town here, you know, checks, bad checks. So I didn't know what he was talking about really. And then when I found out, oh, I'm overdrawn. So we went into the office there, and I called up Dick Contino and paid for I don't know how much it was, but he paid it. Dick took it out of my deal. Well, the following Monday, I went into the office for this was Bluebird Recordings. I went in there to see about my album that I'm going to make. I was just well enough known in L.A. that they put a little article in the paper saying Frank Masi, singer at the Macombo, was jailed for bad checks. Jailed for bad checks. I was overdrawn on a couple checks, but it was just enough to do the damage where they didn't hire me. Well, about 6 months later, I'm not saying that it might be a coincidence. I seen an album with Jerry Vale's album when Jerry Vale first came out, and there was the songs, most of the songs that I was going to do on the album. Bluebird, or I think it was Bluebird recording. Jerry Vale. I could have been that Jerry Vale. So that's the breaks you get. See. Maybe I wasn't made to.
Maybe then you wouldn't have done the shows. So.
Yeah.
What are some of your hobbies other than singing?
Well, I love oil paintings. I know this is pastel over here. Mm-hmm. If you want to take a shot at my pastels later, you can do that. Anyway, but I'm into oil paintings now. I'm kind of schooling with Bob Ross.
Oh, the guy on TV?
Channel 13.
The guy on TV, and that's my school. His program is my schooling. I like bowling.
Uh-huh.
Are you a good bowler?
Huh?
Do you bowl well?
Well, I was in the North American Aviation League, and my average was 155. Now, if I bowled, I'd be lucky to break 100. I've been bowled for so long, you know.
And cooking?
Cooking? Oh, yes. I've done a lot of cooking.
What's your specialty?
Huh?
What's your specialty?
I think chicken cacciatore. Would you say chicken cacciatore was my special, baby?
Yep, she's...
Yeah? Yeah. Well, I think I would. Meatloaf. I make a good meatloaf. Make a nice roast. I know when my kids say, oh, Daddy's cooking tonight? Oh boy! No. My wife's a good cook. Don't get me wrong, you know. But oh boy, 'cause I just put everything, you know. I put this and that and everything. We had our own place in Denver, Colorado for 5 years.
A restaurant?
Yeah.
You until it?
Yeah. And
What was it called? What was the name?
called the DeVille.
Mm-hmm.
The DeVille. It's right there. It was a nice area too. It was right there on East Colfax. And we had it for 5 years. And well, when we first got the place, it was a dead horse. Everybody told us, no, you'll never make it. And when we looked at the restaurant, we could see why it was filthy.
Mm-hmm.
We took 2 weeks, at least 2 weeks, to paint it, clean it up and all. We put a big sign under new management. And the first couple weeks, or more than a couple weeks, I mean, it looked like we weren't going to make it. About, I'd say, 6 months went by and we were just barely hanging on. So I was putting 2 specials each day. And on Tuesday, speaking of chicken cacciatore, I think that's what made it for us.
The chicken cacciatore?
Yeah, I put a special on chicken cacciatore and something else, you know, maybe baked beans or something. Chicken cacciatore. And every Tuesday I would put that Italian meal. One week I would have spaghetti and meatballs or sausage and meatballs and chicken cacciatore. And I noticed the place got crowded, and every Tuesday we got more business on Tuesday than anything, you know. And pretty soon we seen them lining outside, waiting to come in, and we were doing real well.
You were the chef there then?
Yeah, I was a chef. Tilly was helping me out with the register and waiting on people, and we had a waitress too, and we had dishwasher and.
Did you ever think of putting a show on, music there or anything like that? No.
No, I never did. No. I was doing. I did. This was before we had the restaurant. I was doing show wagon. We toured around the country, around the area. Not so much around. Like we'd go to Nebraska or Wyoming, or Arizona, and it's 2 big vans together. One van that opens up as a stage, and the other had instruments and costumes and such. And we go, like say we're going to Omaha, Nebraska, and we go to a park, and we have this van open up as a stage, and I would do singing, and somebody would do guitar play or whatever, you know, different acts, dancers. And we used to get write-ups. I had a write-up with my name in the paper, over 5,000 in Denver, Colorado, you know, watching show wagon. And then then after that we got our restaurant. And after 5 years we made about 500% profit because, you know, we built it up. And I came here to make the record.
Good.
And,
Now, has Stairway to Stardom been seen anywhere but in the New York area?
oh yes, it's been seen in London.
No.
London. As a matter of fact, I just got a little check not too long ago for some film clips that they showed over there.
You said that you were contacted to be on the David Letterman show?
Yeah. I never heard from him now. I got the old letter right in the drawer there where they definitely wanted me on the show.
Maybe on CBS, when he goes
Right.
to CBS, maybe you'll get...
I didn't even bother. No, I figured, well, I don't like to be a nuisance. If David Letterman would have called me, because when I spoke to him, I spoke to, not to him, but to his assistant. And he says, oh yeah, we really want you and everything. We're definitely going to, and that was, I didn't beg, because I'm not going to beg.
That was a letdown, though. That was really
And
letdown.
they said, we really want you, and I send them tapes and all, and they said, we're going to use you, so I suggested, like how you remember how they used to bring this fellow with the animals, had all the animals.
The zoo from the zoo.
And they would interview him first, and they say, what animals did you bring? And then they'll bring, well, that's the way I thought he could do it, like with me, you know. I'd come out and maybe do a song, interview me, and say, well, who did you bring us today? Even if I don't sing. Who did you bring today? Well, I got some talent for you today, you know, and bring maybe 3 little talents that can, you know, 3 talents that can get brief, you know, if I mean, I know there's so much timing involved, but, you know, to do it in that order, you know, here I have a cable TV show that for young talent all over, and to show the talent so they can be shown nationally, you know. I thought maybe something like that would have been nice.
Yeah.
Before Star Search, I sent this to Channel 5, Group W.
Right.
And he had the tape. And a week later I went up, and the receptionist there, she says, I don't think that tape's back from California yet.
California.
I says, California? And she said, oh, I don't know, you'll have to talk to so-and-so, you know. Oh, I says, okay. So the next night I get a phone call from the head boss there, the head one too. And he says, how you doing, Frank? He says, oh, I'm sorry about that tape. He says, I'm showing it to somebody. He says, hey, he says, I got 4 tickets to the chorus line. How'd you like to have them? Front row center. Gee, you know, those tickets are expensive. I didn't think nothing. So I said, yeah, sure. Got the tickets, you know. Next week I got my tape back, this one here. And about 3 months later, we see a commercial there with Star Search. And my son was there. He said, look, Dad, he said, it shows something like yours. I said, yeah. I still didn't think nothing of it, you know. And then when the show came out, and I saw Group W, and this is Group W. That was Group W. And I was thinking, I wonder if that just had anything to do with it. Maybe they just got the idea from this, you know. Stole my idea. So a lot of people said I should have sued and all that. But,
Good, huh? Maybe you could be...
it's too late now.
You could take Ed McMahon's place.
Huh? Yeah. Yeah. This was an award. What year was this? You remember, babe?
86.
86, 1986, yeah.
Yeah, you got the award.
That's Friday, cable TV, Stairway to Stardom.
I understand we will be graced with a brief sample of the fine quality performance which we are awarding this evening. Our own Mr. Frank Masi will be singing The Way We Were. Take it away, Frank.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Memories like the corners of my mind, misty water-colored memories of the way we were. Scattered pictures of the smiles we left behind, smiles we gave to one another for the way we were. Can it be that it was all so simple then? Or has time rewritten every line? And if we had the chance to do it all again, tell me, would we, or could we? Memories may be beautiful, and yet what's too painful to remember, we simply choose to forget. So it's a laughter we will remember whenever we remember the way we were. simple then? Or has time rewritten every line? And if we had the chance to do it all again, tell me, would we? Oh, could we? Memory may be beautiful, and yet what's too painful to remember, we simply choose to forget. So it's the laughter we will remember whenever we remember the way we were, the way we were.
Bravo, Frank Masi.
Thank you.
And it is with great pleasure that I present to you the 1986 Beyond Vaudeville Award for Best Production in a Variety Show.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you very much. You want me to say a few
Yes,
words? Well, you know, I've had my show about 7 years or so, and I've started right here at this studio here. And the main thing about my show, it gives these performers around the tri-state area a chance to be seen, a chance for exposure, for camera experience, so many things. And it's a great pleasure for me to receive this award, and I hope to keep on doing this, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
This is my dad. He was a comedian. And this is my brother. He was also in show business.
And this is you. This is.
And that's, of course, that's me there. Yours truly.
When was this?
I mean, when was that taken?
Yeah.
Ah, that's a younger me there. Let's see, I guess that's 10 years ago anyways. And this, of course, was the Bushes. That was really the Park Royal Hotel. This is one I used on the show also. They put the camera up to that, and I'd sing my song. There's a long way to go on the stairway to stardom, and you'll fight for each step that you take. I guess that's about it. I got a bunch of junk I could have put up, but I didn't.
That's okay. Just follow you down the hall.
Yeah, all right. There are songs to remember as years go passing by.
I never sing.
Remember what we used to do? God bless you and love everybody. And then what would you say?
Don't forget to say a little prayer for somebody.
Yeah.